Have you ever walked into a room and felt small? Like your voice gets lost and your presence just evaporates? There is a fascinating science to commanding respect without saying a word, a tangible presence that some people just seem to have. It's not magic, it's a specific set of cues. Most people ignore how these cues build on each other, but 99% miss the final step that makes it feel natural, not fake. Skip that, and you'll just be an actor playing a part, and people can always tell. Sovereign presence. There's this incredible feedback loop that happens between our body and our mind, something neuroscientists have been fascinated by for decades. We often think that we feel a certain way, and then our body follows suit. We feel nervous, so we shrink. We feel happy, so we smile. But the research is overwhelmingly clear that this is a two-way street. Your body can actually lead the way, sending powerful signals to your brain that change your internal chemistry, and as a result, how you feel and how others perceive you. This is the foundation of a royal presence. It's not about pretending, it's about activating a different part of yourself through intentional physical cues. The first and most powerful cue is your posture. Think about the universal nonverbal signal for power and confidence. It's expansion, taking up space. Studies have shown that adopting expansive, high-power postures, shoulders back, chin slightly lifted, chest open, can, in some contexts, decrease our stress hormone, cortisol, and increase hormones associated with confidence. When you walk into a room, imagine a string gently pulling you up from the crown of your head. This isn't about being stiff or arrogant. It's about occupying your space with a calm certainty. This single adjustment does two things. Internally, it signals to your amygdala, the brain's alarm center, that you are safe and in control, which can quiet that frantic, nervous internal monologue. Externally, it sends a powerful cue of competence and self-assuredness to everyone you interact with. People are hardwired to make snap judgments based on these nonverbals, and an open, upright posture is one of the most ancient and immediate signals of a leader, of someone who is comfortable in their own skin. It's the silent announcement that you have a right to be there. The next layer is your gaze. Where you put your attention is where you put your power. People who lack confidence often have shifty, downward cast eyes. They avoid holding a gaze because it feels too intense, too vulnerable. A queen, however, uses her gaze with intention. It's not a dominating, aggressive stare, but a calm, steady, and warm point of connection. When you're speaking with someone, practice holding their gaze for just a beat longer than feels comfortable. This is where the magic happens. That extra second communicates that you are fully present, that you are listening, and that you are not intimidated. Research on oxytocin, the bonding hormone, shows that sustained, warm eye contact can actually trigger its release in both people, creating an instant feeling of trust and rapport. It's one of the fastest ways to build a bridge with someone. And finally, let's talk about your voice. Our vocal tone carries a huge amount of information about our emotional state and our perceived authority. A nervous voice tends to go up in pitch at the end of a sentence, turning a statement into a question. This is called upspeak, and it subconsciously signals uncertainty. It's like you're asking for permission or validation for your own words. To cultivate a more sovereign vocal presence, practice using a downward inflection. When you make a statement, let your voice end with a period, not a question mark. Let it land with a gentle, grounded finality. You can practice this by simply reading a book aloud and paying attention to the melody of your sentences. A lower, more modulated vocal range is consistently rated in studies as more persuasive, more trustworthy, and more competent. These external cues, posture, gaze, and voice, are not a costume you put on. They are tools you use to recalibrate your own internal state, creating a powerful coherence between how you want to feel and how you physically show up in the world. Inner realm. Now, we can have the most perfect posture and the steadiest gaze in the world, but if the voice inside our own head is a tyrant, none of it will ever feel authentic. It will feel like a performance, and that dissonance is something people can sense from a mile away. The true throne of your kingdom is your mind, and a queen is not a passive subject to her own thoughts. She is the active ruler of her inner realm. This is where the real work begins, and it's grounded in the science of neuroplasticity. the incredible, proven ability of our brains to rewire themselves based on our repeated thoughts and behaviors. Your internal narrative isn't fixed, it's a habit, and any habit can be changed with intentional practice. The first step is to simply become aware of the story you're telling yourself. Is it a story of, I'm not good enough, I don't belong here, who am I to do this? That inner critic is often a relic of our past, a protective mechanism that was trying to keep us safe from failure or judgment. But a queen understands that you cannot build a future from a place of fear. The technique here is what psychologists call cognitive reframing. It's a three-step process. Catch the thought, challenge the thought, and change the thought. When you hear that negative voice, don't just accept it as truth. Catch it, then challenge it like a scientist. Where is the evidence for this belief? Is it 100% true, or is it just a feeling? More often than not, you'll find that inner critic is a terrible storyteller with very little data to back up its claims. Finally, you consciously choose a different, more empowering thought. Instead of I'm going to fail, you might change it to this is a challenge and I am capable of learning and growing from it. It feels unnatural at first, but every time you do this, you are literally forging a new neural pathway in your brain. The second pillar of ruling your inner realm is the mastery of boundaries. A boundary is not a wall you build to keep people out. A boundary is a beautiful, clear declaration of your own value. It's you saying, this is where I end and you begin. This is what I am available for, and this is what I am not. People who struggle with boundaries often operate from a place of people-pleasing, terrified that saying no will lead to rejection or conflict. But what the research on burnout and chronic stress tells us is that a lack of boundaries is one of the fastest paths to resentment and exhaustion. When you constantly say yes to things that drain you, you are sending a powerful message to yourself that your own needs, your own energy, and your own peace do not matter. A queen understands that her energy is her most precious resource. It is the fuel for her vision and her work in the world. Setting a boundary can be as simple as saying, I'm not able to take that on right now, or I need some time to think about that before I can give you an answer. It doesn't require a long, dramatic explanation. It requires a calm, firm belief in your right to protect your well-being. This practice is fundamentally an act of self-respect. Each time you honor your own limits, you build self-trust. You teach yourself that you are worthy of your own care. This isn't selfish, it's essential. You cannot pour from an empty cup. By managing your internal narrative and honoring your personal boundaries, you create a psychological foundation of safety and strength. From this place, your external presence becomes a genuine reflection of your inner state. Not an act, but an authentic expression of a person who knows, respects, and rules herself. Noble actions. So we've aligned our physical presence and we've begun to manage our internal state. This is the core foundation. But a queen is not defined by how she holds herself in isolation. She is defined by how she interacts with her world and the people in it. Her power is not for hoarding, it's for circulation. It's for elevating the entire ecosystem around her. This is where we move from self-mastery to leadership, and it's all about a delicate, powerful balance that social scientists call the warmth competence model. Competence is what we've been building, the posture, the gaze, the self-respect. It's the part of you that commands respect. But competence alone can be perceived as cold, intimidating, or arrogant. Warmth is the missing piece, it's the connector. It's what inspires trust, loyalty, and genuine human connection. A true queen wields both in perfect harmony. One of the most powerful ways to signal warmth is through the practice of generous listening. Most of us, when we're in a conversation, aren't truly listening. We're just waiting for our turn to talk. We're formulating our response, thinking about what we're going to say next to sound smart or interesting. Generous listening is different. It's about offering someone the incredible gift of your undivided attention. It's putting your own agenda aside and becoming genuinely curious about the other person's world. This means using open body language, nodding, and asking clarifying questions like, what did you mean by that? Or, how did that feel for you? This simple shift has a profound neurological effect. When someone feels truly seen and heard, their brain's threat response goes down and their social engagement system lights up. They feel safe, they feel valued. This is the bedrock of all influence and connection. The next noble action is to become a champion for others. A queen with an insecure mindset sees other people's success as a threat to her own. She operates from a scarcity mentality, believing there's only so much room at the top. But a queen with a truly sovereign mindset operates from a place of abundance. She knows that a rising tide lifts all boats. She actively looks for the good in others and is the first to celebrate it. This isn't about empty flattery, it's about specific, genuine recognition. Instead of saying a generic, good job, you might say, the way you handled that difficult client with so much patience and creativity was truly impressive. According to research, receiving specific praise activates the same reward centers in the brain as receiving money. It's a powerful motivator and a builder of deep loyalty. When you make it your mission to find and amplify the strengths in others, you create an environment where people feel empowered to be their best selves. Finally, a truly noble leader embraces strategic vulnerability. This might sound counterintuitive. Don't we want to appear flawless and perfect? The research says no. A fascinating psychological principle called the pratfall effect found that highly competent people were rated as more likable after they made a small human mistake, like spilling coffee on themselves. Why? Because it makes them relatable. It shatters the illusion of intimidating perfection and reminds us that they are human, just like us. This doesn't mean highlighting your insecurities or oversharing. It means being willing to say, I don't know the answer to that, but I'll find out. Or, I made a mistake here, and this is how I'm going to fix it. This kind of vulnerability, when paired with high competence, is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate sign of confidence. It shows that your self-worth is not tied to being perfect. It's the final piece that blends your power with your humanity, making you not just respected, but truly loved. Lasting legacy. This is the final piece. This is the part that connects everything we've talked about and transforms it from a set of behaviors into a way of being. Without this, the posture is just a pose, the boundaries are just walls, and the noble actions are just manipulation. You can learn all the techniques in the world, but if they aren't anchored to something deeper, they will crumble under pressure. The lasting legacy is about your why. It is the North Star that guides every choice, every action, every word. It is the constitution of your kingdom. A queen doesn't just think about the next meeting or the next week. She thinks about the impact she wants to leave on the world long after she is gone. This is about moving from a reactive life to a life of profound intention. The first step in defining your legacy is clarifying your core values. These are your non-negotiables, the principles you would stand for even if it were unpopular. Is it integrity? Is it compassion? Is it creativity? Is it justice? Take the time to actually write down your top 3 to 5 values. This is not a trivial exercise. These words become the filter through which you make all your decisions. When you're faced with a choice, big or small, you can ask yourself, does this align with my value of integrity? Does this honor my value of compassion? This framework simplifies decision-making and eliminates the anxiety that comes from being pulled in a million different directions. When you are clear on what you stand for, you no longer need to seek external validation. Your internal compass becomes your true guide. With your values as your foundation, the next question becomes, how do you want to make people feel? This is a powerful shift in perspective. So much of our anxiety comes from being focused on ourselves. How do I look? What will they think of me? Did I say the right thing? A queen shifts her focus outward. Her primary question is, what is my impact on others? When someone leaves my presence, do they feel bigger or smaller? Do they feel more inspired or more drained? Do they feel seen or invisible? This isn't about being responsible for other people's emotions, but about being intentional with the energy you bring into a space. When your goal is to leave people feeling better for having interacted with you, your self-consciousness magically begins to dissolve. Your purpose becomes bigger than your fear. This is the ultimate integration. Your sovereign presence, the posture, the gaze, the voice, becomes the physical vessel for your values. Your inner realm, the mindset, the boundaries, becomes the protected, sacred space where you honor those values within yourself. And your noble actions, the listening, the championing, the vulnerability, become the way you express your values out in the world, creating your legacy in real time with every single interaction. This is not a destination you arrive at one day. It is a constant practice. It is a daily choice to align your body, your mind, and your actions with the highest vision you have for yourself. It's the conscious decision to stop waiting for permission to be powerful, to be kind, to be worthy. You don't need a coronation to be a queen. You just need to decide to be one. The truth is, you were never meant to be small. You were never meant to shrink or to silence the part of you that knows your own worth. The journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering and reclaiming the power that has been inside you all along. It is the slow, steady, and beautiful process of straightening a crown that was always yours. It's simply time to grow into it. Which part of this journey, the physical presence, the inner mindset, the noble actions, or the lasting legacy, made you pause and reflect the most?